The Galactic Academy. The gleaming spires of the Galactic Academy pierced the purple sky of Centauri Prime, their iridescent surfaces reflecting the light of 3 suns. It was here, at the most prestigious institution of higher learning in the known universe, that the brightest minds from 1,000 worlds came to study the mysteries of existence. Among the throng of diverse beings making their way through the Academy's grand entrance was Zara Chen, the first human ever admitted to this hallowed institution. She walked with purpose, her dark eyes taking in the alien architecture and the even more alien beings surrounding her. Some floated on anti-gravity platforms, others slithered along on trails of bioluminescent slime, and a few seemed to phase in and out of reality itself. Zara couldn't help but feel a twinge of pride mixed with trepidation. She was here representing not just herself, but all of humanity. Earth, or Sol 3, as it was known in galactic parlance, was still considered a backwater world by most of the galaxy's civilizations. Humans were seen as plucky upstarts at best, and dangerous savages at worst. Their homeworld's classification as a Deathworld didn't help matters. As she navigated the crowded hallways, following the holographic map projected from her wrist-mounted computer, Zara overheard snippets of conversation in a dozen different languages, all seamlessly translated by her neural implant. Did you hear? They actually admitted a Deathworlder this cycle. I hope it's properly restrained. I've heard they're uncontrollably violent. My third cousin's roommate once met a human. Said they consume the flesh of other organisms for sustenance. Barbaric. Zara gritted her teeth but kept moving. She was used to this kind of talk by now. It had been the same when she first left Earth to study at the Martian colonies, and again when she was selected for the interstellar exchange program. She'd proved them all wrong, just as she always had. Finally, she arrived at her destination. Advanced Xenophysics, taught by the renowned Professor Xixel, a being composed entirely of pulsating energy fields contained within a humanoid-shaped force field. Zara took a deep breath and stepped inside. The lecture hall was a marvel of engineering, with holographic displays floating at each workstation and a central platform that could generate real-time simulations of complex physical phenomena. Zara found an empty seat near the back, trying to ignore the wary glances and hastily vacated chairs around her. As she settled in, a melodious chime signaled the start of class. Professor Xixel materialized at the center of the room, their energy form shifting through a kaleidoscope of colors. Greetings, aspiring minds. The professor's thoughts resonated directly in each student's consciousness. Welcome to Advanced Xenophysics. This term, we will be exploring the fundamental forces that shape our universe, from the quantum realm to the cosmic scale. Xixel's gaze, or what passed for it, swept across the room. I see we have quite a diverse group this cycle. Excellent. The pursuit of knowledge knows no boundaries of species or origin. The professor's focus settled on Zara for a moment longer than the rest. Ah, yes. Our first representative from Sol 3. Welcome, young human. I trust you'll find our curriculum stimulating. There was a ripple of amusement through the class. Zara sat up straighter, determined not to let the condescension get to her. Now then, Xixel continued, let's begin with a little warm-up exercise, something to gauge where you all stand in your understanding of multidimensional physics. With a gesture, the professor summoned a holographic display in front of each student. Zara's eyes widened as she took in the problem before her. It was a simulation of a complex star system, with multiple suns of varying masses orbiting a central point. Quantum fluctuations rippled through the system, affecting gravitational forces in unpredictable ways. You have 30 minutes, Xixel announced. Calculate the precise moment when all 7 stars will align, taking into account relativistic effects and quantum uncertainties. Begin. The room fell silent save for the soft hum of mental interfaces as students began tackling the problem. Zara stared at her display, her mind racing. This was far beyond anything she'd encountered in her studies on Earth or Mars. For a moment, Panic threatened to overwhelm her. But then, something clicked. She remembered her old physics teacher back in Houston, Ms. Rodriguez, and her unconventional methods. Physics isn't just about numbers, she'd say. It's about understanding the dance of the universe. Sometimes, you've got to stop thinking like a scientist and start thinking like a choreographer. With that thought, Zara began to approach the problem differently. Instead of getting bogged down in the complex calculations, she visualized the star system as a grand cosmic ballet. She started sketching on her datapad, mapping out the movements of the stars not as equations, but as a flowing dance. As she worked, she became aware of curious glances from her classmates. Some were looking at her in confusion, others in amusement, but Zara paid them no mind. She was in the zone, her hand moving almost of its own accord as she mapped out the intricate patterns of celestial movement. 15 minutes passed, then 20. Zara's sketch had evolved into a complex diagram that looked more like an artist's representation of a musical score than a scientific calculation. But to her eyes, it all made perfect sense. With just 2 minutes to spare, Zara input her final calculations and sat back, exhaling deeply. She had no idea if she was even close to the right answer, but she felt a sense of accomplishment nonetheless. At least she'd given it her best shot. "Time's up," Professor Xixel announced. "Let's see what you've all come up with." One by one, students began sharing their results. Most had managed to calculate an approximate time frame for the alignment, usually within a range of several hours or even days. Each time, Xixel would nod, offering mild praise or gentle corrections. Finally, it was Zara's turn. With a deep breath, she transmitted her results to the central display. The hologram flickered, showing her unusual diagram alongside her final calculation. Precise timestamp, down to the millisecond. The room fell silent. Professor Xixel's energy form pulsed rapidly, the equivalent of raised eyebrows in most humanoid species. "Interesting approach, Ms. Chen. Care to explain your methodology?" Zara stood, her heart pounding. "Well, Professor, I approached it as a choreography problem. Each star has its own rhythm, its own part in the cosmic dance. By mapping out their movements as a musical score of sorts, I was able to find the exact moment when all their rhythms synchronize." She expected laughter, or at least skeptical murmurs. Instead, the silence deepened. Professor Xixel floated closer, examining Zara's work with intense focus. "In all my cycles of teaching," the professor finally said, "I have never seen an approach quite like this. It's unorthodox, certainly. One might even call it primitive." Zara's heart sank, but then Xixel continued, "And yet, it's precisely correct." Shock ran through the classroom. Students began whispering furiously among themselves. Zara stood frozen, hardly daring to believe what she'd heard. "It seems," Xixel addressed the class, their tone filled with a mix of amusement and genuine interest, "that our new colleague from the Deathworld has much to teach us about thinking outside conventional parameters. Well done, Ms. Chen, very well done indeed." As Zara sat down, her mind reeling from the unexpected praise, she became aware of the changed atmosphere in the room. The wary glances had been replaced by looks of curiosity, and in some cases, grudging respect. She had taken her first step towards changing perceptions about humanity. But as Professor Xixel launched into the day's lecture, Zara knew this was just the beginning. The real challenges, and the real opportunities to showcase human ingenuity, still lay ahead. Little did she know just how soon those challenges would arrive, or how profoundly they would shake the foundations of galactic society. The impossible assignment. Weeks passed at the Galactic Academy, and Zara found herself settling into a routine. The initial wariness of her classmates had gradually given way to curiosity, and in some cases, tentative friendships. Her unorthodox approach to problem-solving had earned her a reputation as something of an enigma, a primitive being from a backwater world who somehow managed to keep pace with the brightest minds in the galaxy. It was on a particularly balmy day, with all three of Centauri Prime's suns blazing in the sky, that Professor Xixel made an announcement that would change everything. "Attention, class," the energy being pulsed, their voice resonating in the minds of all present. "Today, we embark on a project of unprecedented scale and complexity. The Galactic Council has tasked our institution with solving a problem that has long plagued our civilization." A hush fell over the lecture hall. Even the normally chatty Zoloxians, with their three mouths, fell silent. Xixel continued, "As you know, our reliance on faster-than-light travel has allowed us to spread across the stars. But it comes at a cost. The quantum wake of our ships is tearing microscopic holes in the fabric of space-time. These rifts are small, but they're accumulating. If left unchecked, they could lead to catastrophic consequences on a cosmic scale." The professor's form shimmered, projecting a holographic representation of the galaxy. Tiny red dots appeared, scattered throughout the spiral arms, each representing a space-time anomaly. "Your assignment is this: develop a method to seal these rifts without disrupting the delicate balance of the cosmos. You have until the end of the academic cycle to present your solutions. The most promising proposals will be submitted to the Galactic Council for consideration." Excited murmurs filled the room. This was no mere academic exercise. This was a chance to make a real difference in the fate of the galaxy. Zara's mind was already racing with possibilities. But before she could fully process the implications of the assignment, Xixel added one final stipulation. "To encourage diverse approaches, you will work in pairs. And to further challenge your adaptability, I will be assigning the teams." A groan went up from the class. Zara felt a knot form in her stomach. She had made progress in being accepted, but she was under no illusions. Most of her classmates would still be reluctant to work closely with a Deathworlder. The professor began listing off pairs. Zara held her breath, waiting for her name to be called. Finally, Xixel announced, "Zara Chen and Nxclara." Zara's head snapped up, searching the room. Her eyes landed on a shimmering tentacle being near the front of the class. Nxclara was a Volux, a species renowned for their analytical minds and disdain for anything they deemed primitive. Throughout the term, the Volux had made no secret of their contempt for the human in their midst. As the class dispersed to meet with their assigned partners, Zara made her way to Nxclara's workstation. The Volux's tendrils were writhing in what Zara had learned to recognize as agitation. "Hello, Nxclara," Zara said, trying to keep her voice steady. "I guess we'll be working together." The Volux's eye stalks swiveled to regard her coolly. "Indeed," came the reply, the translated voice dripping with disdain. "Try not to slow me down too much, human. This project is far too important to be compromised by your primitive methodologies." Zara bit back a retort. This was going to be a long project, but she was determined to prove her worth, not just for herself, but for all of humanity. Over the next few weeks, Zara and Nxclara fell into an uneasy working relationship. They would meet in the Academy's vast library, surrounded by holographic tomes and ancient scrolls from 1,000 worlds. The Volux approached the problem with rigid, logical precision, poring over advanced theoretical models and running countless simulations. Zara, meanwhile, found herself drawing inspiration from unexpected sources. She thought about the way spider silk could repair itself, about the principles of metacognition, entropy manipulation, and even Earth's own ozone layer. Ideas that seemed disparate and unrelated in isolation began to coalesce in her mind, forming connections that defied conventional logic. One day, as Nxclara was explaining, with poorly concealed condescension, the finer points of quantum field manipulation, Zara had an epiphany. "Wait," she interrupted, her eyes wide. "What if we're thinking about this all wrong? Instead of trying to force the rifts closed, what if we could encourage them to heal themselves?" Nxclara's tendrils coiled in irritation. "Explain yourself, human. How can a tear in space-time heal itself. Zara was already sketching frantically on her datapad. Think about it. The universe has its own self-correcting mechanisms. Black holes, cosmic inflation, even the way subatomic particles pop in and out of existence. What if we could harness that innate tendency toward equilibrium? She pulled up a holographic display, her hands moving quickly as she outlined her idea. We create a device that generates a field of, let's call it, quantum potential. This field would encourage the edges of the rifts to reconnect, like the surface tension of a water droplet pulling itself back together after being disturbed. Clara was silent for a long moment, eye stalks quivering as they processed Zara's proposal. Finally, the Volok spoke. Your analogy is simplistic, and your understanding of quantum mechanics is rudimentary at best. Zara's heart sank, but then, Clara continued, and yet, there may be merit to this approach. It is unorthodox, but not entirely without scientific basis. It wasn't exactly a ringing endorsement, but coming from Clara, it was practically effusive praise. Zara felt a surge of excitement. So you think it could work? I think, Clara replied carefully, that it warrants further investigation. But do not let this go to your head, human. We have much work to do to turn this vague concept into a viable solution. Over the following days, Zara and Clara threw themselves into the project with renewed vigor. The Volok's precise calculations and vast knowledge of quantum physics complemented Zara's creative problem-solving and intuitive leaps. Slowly but surely, their idea began to take shape. They called it the quantum harmony resonator. In theory, it would generate a field that would encourage the space-time rifts to resonate at their natural frequency, allowing them to gradually knit themselves back together without causing further damage to the surrounding cosmos. As the deadline for project submissions approached, Zara and Clara worked tirelessly to refine their design. They ran simulation after simulation, tweaking parameters and optimizing energy flows. Zara even found herself dreaming in equations and quantum fluctuations. Finally, the day of presentations arrived. The lecture hall was packed, not just with students but with representatives from the Galactic Council itself. The air thrummed with nervous energy as each team presented their solutions. When it was their turn, Zara took a deep breath and stepped up to the holographic display. To her surprise, Clara moved to stand beside her, tendrils spread in a gesture of unity. Esteemed colleagues, the Volok began. We present to you the quantum harmony resonator. As Clara explained the technical specifications, Zara guided the audience through a visualization of the device in action. She showed how it would deploy from a starship, generating its specialized field to encompass a cluster of space-time rifts. The holographic display zoomed in, showing the quantum fabric of space rippling and rejoining. When they finished, there was a moment of stunned silence. Then, gradually, a murmur of excitement spread through the crowd. Questions came rapid-fire from students and council representatives alike. Zara and Clara fielded them confidently, their earlier animosity forgotten in the thrill of scientific discourse. As they left the stage, Professor Xixel's energy form pulsed with what Zara had come to recognize as approval. Impressive work, the professor communicated. A truly innovative solution. The council will deliberate, but I believe you two may have just changed the course of galactic history. Zara felt a surge of pride, not just in their accomplishment, but in the partnership that had made it possible. She turned to Clara, a smile on her face. We did it. The Volok's eye stalks regarded her for a long moment. Then, to Zara's astonishment, one tendril extended towards her in the Volok's equivalent of a handshake. Indeed we did, colleague. It seems I may have been mistaken in my initial assessment of your species' capabilities. As Zara grasped the tendril, she knew that this was more than just a personal victory. It was a step towards a new understanding between humanity and the wider galactic community. The impossible assignment had become a bridge between worlds, proving that even the most unlikely partnerships could yield revolutionary results. Little did they know, their quantum harmony resonator would soon be put to the test in ways they could never have imagined, as a new crisis loomed on the horizon, one that would require all of humanity's unique problem-solving skills to overcome. Human ingenuity unleashed. The excitement surrounding the quantum harmony resonator hadn't even begun to die down when alarms blared throughout the Galactic Academy. Emergency protocols activated, sealing off sections of the campus as students and faculty rushed to designated safe zones. Zara found herself corralled into a large auditorium along with hundreds of other beings from across the galaxy. The air was thick with tension and the mingled scents of a dozen different species stress pheromones. Professor Sixel materialized at the center of the room, their energy form pulsating with an urgency Zara had never seen before. Attention, everyone. We have a situation of utmost gravity. A holographic display sprang to life, showing a region of space near the galactic core. A swirling vortex of darkness was visible, growing larger by the second. This, Sixel continued, is a Class Omega space-time anomaly. It appeared less than an hour ago and is expanding at an exponential rate. If left unchecked, it could destabilize the entire galaxy within days. Gasps and murmurs of fear rippled through the crowd. Zara felt a cold knot of dread form in her stomach. The Galactic Council has initiated emergency protocols, but conventional methods are proving ineffective against an anomaly of this magnitude. Sixel's gaze swept the room, settling on Zara and Sclera. Which is why we're calling upon unconventional solutions. Realization dawned on Zara. The quantum harmony resonator, she breathed. Sclera's tendrils writhed in agitation. But Professor, our device is untested. It was designed to seal minor rifts, not combat a Class Omega anomaly. Precisely why we need to adapt it. And quickly, Sixel replied. A task force is being assembled as we speak. Zara, Sclera, you'll be joining them aboard the research vessel Cosmic Equilibrium. You have 6 hours to modify your design before we depart. Zara's mind reeled. 6 hours to redesign a device they'd spent months developing, to face a threat that could annihilate the galaxy. It seemed impossible. But she looked around at the fear on the faces and other sensory appendages of her fellow students. Something stirred within her. This was why she'd come to the Galactic Academy. Not just to learn, but to make a difference, to show what humanity was capable of when pushed to its limits. She turned to Sclera, determination blazing in her eyes. Let's do this. The next 6 hours were a blur of feverish activity. Zara and Sclera, along with a hastily assembled team of the Academy's brightest minds, worked tirelessly to upgrade the quantum harmony resonator. Zara found herself drawing on every scrap of knowledge she'd accumulated, not just from her studies, but from a lifetime of human experiences. She thought of how earthquakes could be counteracted by controlled demolitions, how forest fires could be fought with backburns. The principle was the same: fight fire with fire, or in this case, fight cosmic instability with controlled quantum fluctuations. What if, she proposed during a tense brainstorming session, instead of just encouraging the anomaly to close, we create a counter-vortex? A quantum whirlpool spinning in the opposite direction. Sclera's eye stalks quivered with interest. Intriguing. A form of destructive interference on a cosmic scale, but the energy requirements would be astronomical. Then we'll make it astronomical, Zara insisted. We can use the gravity of nearby stars to amplify the effect, like a cosmic magnifying glass. As the deadline approached, their modified design took shape. The new quantum harmony resonator was larger, more complex, but also more versatile. It could now generate a range of quantum fields, adaptable to different types of space-time distortions. With minutes to spare, they loaded the schematics into the ship's fabrication units. As they boarded the Cosmic Equilibrium, Zara caught sight of the swirling vortex on the ship's long-range sensors. It had already swallowed several star systems. The ship jumped to faster than light speed, and Zara felt the familiar lurch in her stomach. But this time, it was accompanied by a sense of purpose she'd never experienced before. As they neared the anomaly, the full scale of the threat became apparent. The vortex was a maelstrom of twisted space-time, its edges crackling with exotic particles and gravitational distortions. Entire planets were being torn apart at its fringes. By the cosmic egg, Clara whispered, all four eye stalks wide with horror. How can we hope to stop this? Zara stared at the swirling chaos, her mind racing. Then, something clicked. It's not about stopping it, she said slowly. It's about guiding it, like steering a hurricane. She turned to the ship's commander, a stoic Arcturian with metallic skin. Captain, can we get closer? I need to see the quantum fluctuations at the anomaly's edge. The captain looked skeptical but gave the order. As they edged nearer to the vortex, alarms blared warnings of hull stress and gravitational shear. Zara's eyes were glued to the sensor readings. There, amid the chaos, she saw it, a pattern. The anomaly wasn't just destroying indiscriminately. It was following the path of least resistance through the quantum foam of space-time. We can hurt it, she announced. Use the resonator to create quantum barriers, guiding the anomaly away from populated systems and towards empty regions of space. Clara's tendrils coiled in concentration. Yes, I see it now. And if we can guide it to collide with another, smaller anomaly, they might annihilate each other. Zara finished, excitement building. Like matter and antimatter. The next few hours were a frantic dance of calculations, quick maneuvers, and precisely timed activations of the quantum harmony resonator. Zara found herself working in perfect sync with Clara and the rest of the crew, her human intuition complementing their vast knowledge and experience. They herded the anomaly through a series of empty star systems, using the gravity wells of dead stars to help shape their quantum fields. With each passing hour, the vortex's expansion slowed. Finally, they reached their target, a smaller space-time rift that had been detected years ago, but deemed too dangerous to approach. With a final, precisely calculated burst from the resonator, they nudged the Class Omega anomaly into a collision course. The impact was beyond anything Zara could have imagined. Space itself seemed to scream as the two distortions collided. For a heart-stopping moment, she feared they'd miscalculated, that the collision would create an even larger threat. But then, gradually, the swirling chaos began to subside. The smaller anomaly was gone, and the Class Omega vortex was shrinking, collapsing in on itself. It's working, Clara exclaimed, tendrils waving in excitement. The anomalies are neutralizing each other. Zara watched in awe as the threat that had nearly doomed the galaxy dwindled to a pinprick, then winked out of existence entirely. In its place was a region of calm space, sprinkled with the stellar debris of the systems it had consumed. As the realization of their success sank in, the bridge erupted in celebration. Beings of all species embraced, their differences forgotten in the shared joy of survival. Zara found herself wrapped in Clara's tendrils, the Vollux's usual reserve completely abandoned. We did it, Zara breathed, hardly daring to believe it. We actually did it. No, Clara corrected, eye stalks gazing at her with newfound respect. You did it, Zara Chen of Earth, your species' unique way of thinking. It saved us all. As the cosmic equilibrium began its journey back to the Galactic Academy, news of their success spread across the cosmos. Zara knew that things would never be the same, for her, for humanity, or for the galaxy at large. The human capacity for creative problem-solving, for thinking outside conventional boundaries, had proven itself on the grandest stage possible. And in doing so, it had opened the door to a new era of collaboration and mutual understanding between Earth and the wider galactic community. As Zara looked out at the star-streaked vista of faster-than-light travel, She couldn't help but smile. This was just the beginning. The universe was vast and full of wonders, and humanity was ready to take its place among the stars. Little did she know, the greatest challenges and the greatest opportunities still lay ahead. As the ripples of their actions spread across the cosmos, reshaping the very fabric of galactic society, alien revelations, the return of the cosmic equilibrium to the Galactic Academy was met with jubilation. News of their success had spread faster than light itself, thanks to the advanced quantum communication networks that linked the far-flung corners of the galaxy. As Zara stepped off the ship, she was greeted by a sea of faces and other sensory organs, all beaming with gratitude and awe. Professor Xixel's energy form pulsed with pride as they addressed the assembled crowd. Today, we have witnessed a turning point in galactic history, not just in the averting of a cosmic catastrophe, but in the revelation of the true potential of a species many had dismissed as primitive. Zara felt a mix of embarrassment and pride as all eyes turned to her. She was about to speak when a commotion at the edge of the crowd caught her attention. A group of beings was making its way through the throng, beings she recognized from her studies as members of the Galactic High Council itself. The council members, each representing one of the galaxy's most advanced civilizations, approached Zara and her team. Their leader, a Synthian named Xixis, stepped forward. The Synthians were a race of artificial beings, their bodies a perfect fusion of organic and mechanical parts, and were known for their logical, often emotionless demeanor. Zara Chen of Earth, Xixis intoned, their voice a melodious hum. Your actions have saved countless lives and preserved the stability of our galaxy. The Council wishes to express its gratitude and its curiosity. Zara bowed slightly, remembering her diplomatic training. Thank you, Counselor. I'm honored, but it was a team effort. Couldn't have done it without Nix Clara and the crew of the Cosmic Equilibrium. Xixis's photoreceptors flickered, the Synthian equivalent of a nod. Indeed. And yet it was your unique approach, your human ingenuity, as some are calling it, that provided the key to our salvation. We wish to understand this better. Another council member, a Zephyrian composed entirely of swirling gases contained within a force field, spoke up. Yes, we are most intrigued. How is it that a species from a Class 5 Deathworld, with barely 2 centuries of spacefaring experience, could conceive of a solution that eluded our finest minds? Zara considered her words carefully. This was more than just a debriefing. It was a chance to reshape the galaxy's perception of humanity. I believe, she began, that it's precisely because of our background that we were able to find a solution. Seeing the confusion on the council members' faces, those that had faces, at least, she elaborated. Earth is a world of constant change and challenge. To survive and thrive there, humans had to become adaptable, creative problem solvers. We learned to see connections where others might not, to repurpose and combine ideas in unexpected ways. She gestured to Nix Clara, who was watching the exchange with rapt attention. Take our partnership, for instance. Nix Clara's brilliant mind and vast knowledge provided the foundation. My primitive human perspective allowed us to approach the problem from a new angle. It was the combination of our strengths that led to the solution. The council members exchanged looks, their various appendages and energy fields vibrating with interest. Xixis spoke again. Fascinating. You suggest that adversity breeds innovation, that the very challenges of your homeworld have honed your species into, what? Cosmic problem solvers. Zara nodded, warming to the topic. In a way, yes, but it's more than that. Humans have a unique ability to imagine, to conceive of things that don't yet exist, and then work to make them real. We call it creativity, innovation, thinking outside the box. It's allowed us to overcome countless obstacles on Earth, and now, it seems, in the wider galaxy. A murmur ran through the crowd. Zara could see minds working, perspectives shifting. The Zephyrian counselor swirled thoughtfully. This, Imagination. It is not a concept we are unfamiliar with, and yet the way you describe it, it seems to be a fundamental aspect of your species' cognition. It is, Zara confirmed. From our earliest days, humans have used storytelling, art, and innovation to make sense of our world and to shape it. We've imagined futures where we could fly, explore the depths of the ocean, or travel between stars, and then we've worked to make those imaginings real. Clara, who had been uncharacteristically quiet, suddenly spoke up. If I may, honored council members, working with Zara has been an enlightening experience. Her approach often seemed illogical, even chaotic. But I have come to realize that this very chaos can lead to breakthroughs that pure logic might miss. The Cynthian counselor's photoreceptors flickered rapidly, a sign of intense processing. This is unexpected. Our assessments of Earth and its inhabitants may have been flawed. Zara saw an opportunity and seized it. Counselors, if I may make a suggestion, perhaps it's time for a reevaluation of how the galactic community views not just humanity, but all emerging species. Diversity of thought and approach could be our greatest strength in facing future challenges. The council members conferred among themselves, their discussion a mix of verbal and non-verbal communications that Zara could only partly follow. Finally, Zixis turned back to her. Zara Chen of Earth, your words carry wisdom beyond your years and your species' development. The Council will take your suggestion under advisement. Moreover, we wish to extend an invitation. Zara's heart raced. An invitation from the Galactic High Council was unprecedented for a species at Earth's level of development. Zixis continued, we propose the establishment of a new division within the Council, one dedicated to creative problem-solving and the integration of diverse cognitive approaches. We would like you, as a representative of humanity, to play a key role in its formation. The crowd erupted in excited chatter. Professor Xixel's energy form pulsed with what Zara had come to recognize as their equivalent of a proud smile. Zara felt overwhelmed. This was more than she could have ever dreamed when she first set foot in the Galactic Academy. It was a chance not just for personal achievement, but to elevate humanity's standing in the cosmos and to bridge the gap between Earth and the wider galactic community. I would be honored, Counselor, she managed to say, her voice thick with emotion. As the council members began to discuss the details of this new initiative, Zara caught Clara's eye. The Vollux's tendrils were coiled in a way that Zara now recognized as their version of a smile. Well done, Zara, Clara said softly. It seems your primitive human mind has opened up entirely new possibilities for us all. Zara grinned. Just wait until they meet the rest of humanity. This galaxy won't know what hit it. As the excitement of the moment washed over her, Zara realized that this was more than just a personal triumph or even a victory for humanity. It was the dawn of a new era for the entire galaxy, one where diversity of thought and approach would be celebrated and harnessed to face the unknown challenges that lay ahead in the vast, mysterious cosmos. The impossible assignment had become a gateway to unlimited potential, and Zara Chen, once dismissed as a primitive Deathworlder, now stood at the forefront of a galactic renaissance. The true adventure, she realized, was only just beginning, a new era of collaboration. The months following the Class Omega anomaly incident saw a flurry of activity across the galaxy. The establishment of the new Council Division, officially named the Department of Creative Cognitive Integration, DCCI, became a catalyst for change on an unprecedented scale. Zara found herself at the center of it all, working tirelessly to bridge the gap between humanity and the wider galactic community. Her days were filled with diplomatic meetings, scientific conferences, and cultural exchange programs. It was exhausting, exhilarating work. One particularly memorable day, Zara stood before a mixed audience of humans and aliens at the newly christened Earth Embassy on Centauri Prime. The architecture of the building itself was a testament to the new era of collaboration, a stunning blend of terrestrial and extraterrestrial design elements. Today, Zara began, her voice carrying across the assembled crowd. We stand at the threshold of a new age. An age where the strengths of all species, all civilizations, are recognized and celebrated. She gestured to the diverse group before her, humans in their varied attire standing shoulder to shoulder, or equivalent appendage, with beings from across the cosmos. The quantum harmony resonator was just the beginning. Already, we're seeing the fruits of our combined efforts. The Arcturians have adapted human music theory to enhance their quantum communication networks. Volux biotechnology, infused with human creativity, has led to breakthroughs in medical nanorobotics. And a team of human anthropologists working with Zephyrian historians is rewriting our understanding of galactic cultural evolution. A new era of collaboration. The months following the Class Omega anomaly incident saw a flurry of activity across the galaxy. The establishment of the new Council Division, officially named the Department of Creative Cognitive Integration, DCCI, became a catalyst for change on an unprecedented scale. Zara found herself at the center of it all, working tirelessly to bridge the gap between humanity and the wider galactic community. Her days were filled with diplomatic meetings, scientific conferences, and cultural exchange programs. It was exhausting, exhilarating work. One particularly memorable day, Zara stood before a mixed audience of humans and aliens at the newly christened Earth Embassy on Centauri Prime. The architecture of the building itself was a testament to the new era of collaboration, a stunning blend of terrestrial and extraterrestrial design elements. Today, Zara began, her voice carrying across the assembled crowd. We stand at the threshold of a new age. An age where the strengths of all species, all civilizations, are recognized and celebrated. She gestured to the diverse group before her, humans in their varied attire standing shoulder to shoulder, or equivalent appendage, with beings from across the cosmos. The quantum harmony resonator was just the beginning. Already, we're seeing the fruits of our combined efforts. The Arcturians have adapted human music theory to enhance their quantum communication networks. Volux biotechnology, infused with human creativity, has led to breakthroughs in medical nanorobotics. And a team of human anthropologists working with Zephyrian historians is rewriting our understanding of galactic cultural evolution. The holographic display behind her came to life, showing images from around the globe. Hylian exchange students mingling with human teenagers in high schools. Volux scientists working alongside human biologists in the Amazon rainforest. A Cynthian AI expert giving a TED talk to a rapt audience. Earth is no longer just a Deathworld to be studied from afar. It's become a hub of innovation, a melting pot of ideas from across the cosmos. And humanity, in turn, is reaching for the stars with newfound purpose and understanding. The images shifted to show the construction of Earth's first true interstellar spaceport, a joint project involving engineers from a dozen different species. This is more than just technological advancement. Zara emphasized, it's a meeting of minds, a fusion of perspectives. We're learning that the challenges we face, whether they're cosmic anomalies or climate change or social inequalities, are best tackled together, drawing on the unique strengths of all. Later that evening, Zara stood on the embassy's observation deck, looking out at the alien yet increasingly familiar skyline of Centauri Prime. Professor Xixel materialized beside her, their energy form glowing softly in the twilight. Reality, my dear Zara, often surpasses even the most vivid of dreams. Xixel's form shimmered thoughtfully. You know, when I first advocated for admitting a human to the Academy, there were many who thought I had finally lost my grip on sanity. But I saw potential in your species, a spark of something unique. And now? Zara asked, curious. Now? Xixel's energy pulsed with what Zara had come to recognize as amusement. Now I think perhaps I didn't dream big enough. Humanity has not just integrated into the galactic community. You've revitalized it. Your species' combination of creativity, resilience, and adaptability is transformative. Zara felt a surge of pride, not just for herself but for all of humanity. "We still have a long way to go," she said. "There are challenges ahead, cultural misunderstandings to navigate, technological gaps to bridge, new threats to face." "Indeed," Sixel agreed, "but for the first time in many cycles, I find myself genuinely excited about the future. The galaxy is changing, Zara, and I believe it's changing for the better." As if to underscore the professor's words, a ship took off from the spaceport in the distance, its sleek form a fusion of human and alien design. It rose swiftly, becoming a bright point of light among the stars. Zara watched it go, her heart full of hope and determination. The impossible assignment that had started this journey had become a gateway to unlimited possibilities. Humanity had found its place among the stars, not as conquerors or mere students, but as partners, innovators, and friends. The future stretched out before them, vast and full of wonders yet to be discovered. And Zara knew that whatever challenges lay ahead, they would face them together. United galaxy, stronger and more vibrant than ever before. As the ship disappeared into the cosmic tapestry above, Zara smiled. The greatest adventure, she realized, was just beginning.